Hello YouTube, I'm making a new video about some stuff that recently came up. I listened to the Majority Report with Sam Cedar, and he has several interesting guests on every week, so head over to majority.fm if you want to listen to some interesting podcasting about mostly Occupy Wall Street. But recently he had on the anthropologist David Graeber, and because I made a video to the now closed Hannibal Barker 13 channel, that was kind of in relation to David Graeber's new book. I wanted to follow up on some stuff I now heard David Graeber say in person on this podcast. And the basic premise of his new book, Debt, the First 5,000 Years, is more or less that debt existed long before money, and I guess that's very interesting, of course. The whole concept of the book is more to kind of slander money as not an emergent tool of society that is kind of decentralized and without a power structure, but Graeber sees it as a tool of the state. In the interview he said, it was used to pay soldiers and to account for civil kind of civil suits or criminals lawsuits when someone has hurt someone in ancient times. They calculated recompensation via money because it wasn't done through debt agreements, and so the state always had to enforce it, and so money is not something that was emergent, and it's more a control mechanism by the state. I guess that is his main point. And I personally don't so much care about his analysis, and he, in my view, confuses a lot of things in relation to the economy and money, because he more or less identifies the economy, allocation of goods, exchange with money. That is somehow his the indication he gave in the interview, and of course that is clearly not the case. Exchange can happen with or without money, as he of course admits with his whole shtick about the debt agreements and how people owed something to another, and then they exchanged it again, and they had long-running reputation relationships based on debt agreements. So the general point I want to make here is money is, of course, not the economy. Exchange always happens. And more importantly, money is, if it is somehow introduced, a self-enforcing agreement among individuals, because if you, let's take a simple model, we have a society based on these debt agreements, I owe you one, you owe me one, and the problem is there's always people who use others and overreach with the things they are in debt for. So they always use this to extract some kind of more utility out of their deal than they put in, and so they exploit others, more or less. And if you introduce money and you have a clear account and money is not manipulated too much, it is much easier to pick out the the bad guys. So the bad guys are for exploiting and want the debt agreements back, but the good guys who don't want to be exploited, of course, want money because it's a clearer medium of account. Now, that's the general point. So it's not something that is necessarily born out of the state. It's just a self-enforcing idea of account. And of course, what Graeber is talking about are small societies, small villages, where you can keep track of your individual debt agreements. But if you scale that up and you then look at allocative efficiency, it is, of course, rather difficult to keep track of debt agreements if you don't do it via some kind of clearer measurement, what goods are worth in relation to another. And of course, the market coordinates that via prices, and of course, money as the numeraire good. And you can clearly, you would have problems being clear on if I lend you my iPod for 10 days, is it okay if you give me a chapstick in exchange for that debt you incurred with me? Probably not. It's probably another value, so that will be taken care of in the market, because not literally this problem, but most for most there will be a coordinating market, and certain assumptions for the market are satisfied and there's no market failure. You will have fairer prices than with this debt agreement, where you run the chance of being exploited. So Graeber's point in today's society, that money is somehow some state construct that is controlling people and problematic, and so on and so forth, and that it is not born out of the barter economy and not of the people in some sense, I guess, is kind of mute. It is, in my opinion, totally missing the point. So money is simply a medium of exchange that makes clearer what you get for your pay in that sense. So it has in that sense only positive properties if you have a large society and you have many cases to consider, and so that the base of information is clearer for everybody. So that is kind of the point I want to make. Okay.